One, two, one, two, one, two. Microphone check. One, two, one, two, one, two. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And we are back. We're back. We're back. And we are back. Thank you so much for joining us here on Real Talk with Rajan. We're going to get started very briefly, very soon. So I'll give you guys about a minute to get in here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna do my countdown, and we're gonna get rolling. Tonight I have a very special guest. I always tell you I have very special guests, but these last few guests, they're really special to my heart just because like they're sort of people that know me, and it's cool to talk to people that are in the community doing great things, and we've had a great time with that over the last 3 years. But these last two tonight is a very special young lady in my life, and next week is my mom, who's also a very special young lady in my life. So here we go. Let's do our countdowns. Roll.
Great adult children.
Awesome.
He's definitely in the community. And he did run for Senate 2 years ago. What?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So
Let's talk about the founding of the Distinguished Gentleman's Club.
Absolutely. So about 8 years ago.
You said you're a mother. So how many children?
I have 5 kids.
Okay.
They started saying that I was their African American, and they got this from our president. They were noted.
So what were you doing when you were young? The first or the second time?
So I was in and out.
good. Awesome. So that really is a great place to transition.
And who is sitting across from me or beside me is never going to sway that.
Listen, man. One, I'm not gonna cry on this episode.
Yeah.
I made it through all of these episodes. I think I've cried once in Congress. What are the things that you're most proud of accomplishing? As a congressman and as whip.
Real Talk with Rajan.
I like the applause. Okay, let's see. I must have myself on mute because I can't hear myself. Let's see. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. Let's see. Did I do something? Audio. Default. Here we go. Guess we should have checked this, huh? Hello? Hello? Okay.
Microphone check. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
I must have accidentally pressed the button on myself. All right.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, dang, I messed up the whole intro. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me do my intro over. Is that okay?
Sure. That's
All right.
fine.
Sorry. All right. We're
Okay.
going to start over. All right. Here we go. Let me go from my.
Yeah, so I have 4 great adult children.
Awesome.
He's definitely in the community. He did run for Senate 2 years ago. What?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So he
Let's
was.
talk about the founding of the Distinguished Gentleman's Club. Absolutely. So about 8 years. You said you're a mother. So how many children?
I have 5 children.
Okay.
They started saying that I was their African American, and they got this from our president. You know, they were voted by.
What were you doing when you were a child? The first or the second time? We both the first time.
So I was in and out.
Good. Awesome. So that really is a great place to transition.
And who is sitting across from me or beside me is never gonna sway that.
Listen, man. One, I'm not gonna cry on this episode.
Yeah.
I made it through all of these episodes. I think I've cried once in Congress. What are the things that you're most proud of accomplishing? You know, as a congressman and as whip.
Real talk with Rajon.
All right. Sorry about that. We got it right this time, though. They can hear me. All right. And hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with Rajon, when nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, Rajon Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with Rajon, everything's debatable, so on any given week, we can be discussing anything from sports, to music, to politics, you name it, we'll discuss it. For those who are new to the show, Real Talk with Rajon also has the goal of shining a light on the great people and the great entities that exist all around the Low Country and beyond. In the 3 years that I've been able to do this show, I've had the pleasure of speaking to people from the Low Country, from the state of South Carolina, and all around the nation, and even a couple people from Canada, which was really amazing. But these last few episodes, I really wanted to hone in on people who sort of know me a little bit better. And one of those people is the woman who's really been steering my life for the last 2 years, the CEO of the Center for Heirs Property Preservation, my boss, Miss Jennie, Dr. Sorry, don't mess with the title. Dr. Jennie Stevens. All right, how you doing, Dr. Stevens?
Hi, Rajon. It is truly a pleasure to be on the Real Talk with Rajon show.
Aw,
Just saying.
This is a big moment for me too. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Who am I? Well, as Rashawn said earlier, I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for Heirs Property Preservation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit located in Charleston, but serving 22 counties in of the 46 in South Carolina. And you might wonder, what is heirs property? Heirs property is land that has been passed down without a will. So the family members of the heirs own the land jointly, which makes it difficult to use, to manage, and just all around, it can be a little confusing. And what we do at the center is we are providing the tools to help, I would say, do 3 things. Prevent the loss and the growth of heirs property, to resolve or fix it, and to help families use their land. So we have lawyers on staff, we have foresters on staff, and we have the Marines, the outreach team, who they're the ones who go out first in the community and help build those relationships so that families will partake of our services. I don't know what else you want me to say about the center. The center started in 2005. We're now 16 years old, staff of 30. So we've grown just a little bit.
Yeah. So we're gonna walk through that. We're definitely gonna walk through that.
All
But
right.
Before we get there, I wanna go all the way back in the time.
Who am I? Who my people?
I want you. Yeah.
Okay,
Where is Dr. Jennie Stevens from?
Oh,
Where's Lil
my
Jennie? Tell us about Lil Jennie.
Lil Jennie. All right. So little Jennie grew up in the metropolis of Walterboro, South Carolina. Okay. Both well, my father was killed when I was 5, so it made it interesting growing up with just me and my mom, but I had plenty of cousins, and so I was I usually was the instigator. I'd start things and then go tell my mom that my cousins were bothering me. Never mind that I started it, but anywho, um, and then I'm also, I'm a nerd. That's all I've been most of my life. I love to read books, love to learn, love to help folk, which is kind of got me where I am now. I actually, here's the little tidbit about me. I was like the tallest girl in my class until 7th grade. And
Hmm.
then I stopped growing and everybody else passed me.
Stop
So
growing.
just saying. Yeah, that's right. Everybody started growing. But I graduated as salutatorian of my high school and went on to the College of Charleston. So did my 4 years, graduated from there with my undergrad in business administration. Then I left and I came back to the working world, or came to the working world, who either told me either you're too qualified or you're not qualified enough, which is
Right.
it's the story you all
Right.
get. So I ended up working at a community action agency and learned fairly quickly that that's not what I wanted to do the rest of my life.
Mm.
So I returned to work on my master's degree. So I have my master's in public administration. Um, Many help raise many cousins, um, have done lots of things. And then much later down the road, I did go back and I got my PhD in organizational leadership. So
Wow.
that's,
Okay.
and and in addition to that, I am also an ordained minister.
See, look at God.
So
God
that's,
just he just
that's Jenny. How about
did,
that?
so did little Jenny know, like, did little Jenny know that adult
Mm.
Jenny would be what you became, or did you have a different track in mind when you were a kid?
Um, I think little Jenny really, I know you guys are going to find this hard to believe, those of you who know me. I guess I've always had the like teacher bossy bent, so you
Mm.
can put that combination together and see what you get with it. But actually, when I went to college, that's what my or right before I went to college, my guidance counselor was saying, "Oh, go be a teacher, go be a teacher." And I'm like, "No, you just because I'm black, you want me to go be a teacher." So I didn't go be a teacher. um, I I wanted to major in computer science
Mm.
until I actually got into a computer science class and failed. And so I didn't major in
Like, nah,
computer
I'm not going to computer
science.
science.
Just saying. Yeah, just saying. That was not me. So no, I really did not know back then. But I always knew I wanted to help folk and always did help folk.
Mm.
But I never knew that all of my professional life would be in the nonprofit arena.
Mm.
So yeah. Yeah.
And so you graduate, you matriculate through school,
Mhm.
and you end up, deciding to get your PhD in organizational leadership. Why organizational leadership?
I bumped my head. I don't know. So the choice was between a PhD in educational leadership or
Mhm.
organizational leadership. So I already told you I want to be a teacher. So where did I go? I went to the organizational leadership. Well, and it's part because I like figuring out how people fit together in their role and how you
Mhm.
can make it better. I'm a systems person, you know that.
Yes.
So I just kind of want to dissect stuff and then make sure it's working properly. The joke was when I was a child, I probably should have been a chemist actually. I made this omelet and I included like vinegar and all this kind of other stuff. And not even the dog would eat the omelet. But I'm
Oh
just saying,
no.
So just when you just letting you know, I'm a little adventurous. I like to, see what works together.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So how has that journey informed the work that you do now?
um So I guess, well, part of the journey is, and I said earlier that my father was killed when I was 5. And so I never liked feeling like a victim.
Mm.
So I did the opposite. I became the champion for those who would not or could not stand up for themselves. And that really has guided me through life. It's also got me in trouble on occasion, but it's also guided me through life, that I know that that is my path. My path is to um, help folk. And I guess, but being a mature person, I've learned it's not to do it for them. It is truly to help them. And
Yeah.
then if it looks like they're not going to make it, that's still not my responsibility if I
Right.
gave them the tools. So
Right.
that was a lesson learned for me along the way.
Okay. So
Because
you no, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna spin it to like, so
Mhm.
you're let's talk about the creation of the center. So
Okay.
how because many people, I know the story, but many people
Right.
don't know where the center actually started out. So can you talk about like sort of
Sure.
the origin story of the center?
Yeah. So the center started out as a project of Coastal Community Foundation, which is our local community foundation in Charleston. And the foundation had been afforded the opportunity to get beyond its urban core and look at the needs of the rural area, and specifically around rural economic development.
Mm,
And whenever the foundation staff would go into the community and hold focus groups, they would always hear, I own land, but, and that but usually always led to the discussion around heirs property, which then provoke the foundation to learn more about the issue and to guide the community through a conversation around, or to guide the community to help answer the question, if we were to fix it
mm,
being heirs property, what would it look like? And so truly the vision for the work we do at the center, it is a community's vision. Oftentimes people will say, oh, well, Jenny, you started the center. And I always pause and say, no, I'm a steward of the community's vision.
yeah.
And I hold that to be true, because I didn't sit in some room by myself and come up with all of this wonderful work that we're doing. So it started out as a community vision. We are always engaging partners in our work, and I have a great team who makes it happen. So
Yeah.
that's my story.
And the center started out in 4 counties, right?
Yes, 4 counties, and primarily those were 4 of the coastal communities, 6 counties they were serving at that time, and they were the counties that had the most development occurring.
Mm,
For people who don't know a lot about heirs property owners can't get a mortgage. Heirs property owners have very limited access to any housing rehabilitation funds or any conservation program funds. Even if they have land, they still have limited access to those things because they don't have clear marketable title. And development around heirs property owners makes them extremely vulnerable, because all it takes is one family member to decide to sell his or her share to that developer, and then the developer becomes the newest member of the family,
yeah.
and then could possibly force the sale of the land.
Yeah.
So literally, and we've had our landowners say this, that they're sitting on their gold, but if they don't know how to mine that gold, then the gold is not an asset, is a liability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how has the center's mission grown since it started back in
Um,
2005?
so the center primarily started as a legal service agency. That was our main goal, around providing the legal education for families to, first of all, understand what it meant to own heirs property, and then give them the tools around what they needed to resolve heirs property, and then of course the delivery of legal services. But as we became older, a couple of things happened. Some of our funders started to say, well, if all you're ever going to do is clear title, then we're probably not going to fund you. And we paused and we started looking at them like, do you know how hard it is to basically bring about agreement among family members who in some cases don't even know each other?
Right.
And so that's hard. But and then the second thing was, people started to ask the question, how much heirs property is there in your service area? And we would look at them and say, we don't know, because we didn't know, because we chose not to spend the money on research, but to actually deliver the service to the folk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did because I know, well, I'm asking like I don't know, but like
Well,
as far as
that's your job. That's
yeah,
your role.
I know, but I'm trying to make it natural too. So like,
It's all good. We just
so-
we're just talking. Isn't that what you would say?
yes, we're just talking. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we
Yes,
just
ma'am.
talking. Right. All right.
So how
So go
does the
ahead.
center decide what areas to go into next? Because some people may be watching and saying, yeah.
Why aren't you in my area? That's probably what they're saying. Well, for right now, well, the center can only provide direct legal services to within the state of South Carolina because our attorneys are only licensed in South Carolina. So that is our boundary around the delivery of legal services. However, we could always share our model across other states for other legal entities who may want to do something similar. So how do we decide where we're going to expand? In 2009, 2010, we finally attempted to answer the question how much heirs property there was, and we used tax assessors data and some key terms our attorneys would see come across their desk to kind of identify what could potentially be heirs property, because without doing a title search and knowing the family tree, you're really, it's a guess.
Yeah.
But we felt good about our guess because we didn't want to spend, as I said earlier, we wanted to make sure the people were receiving the direct services rather than spending the money on the research. And so what we did, that map helped us chart out where to go. Before the map, we were reactive. We had to wait for people to come into our door. But with the map, we became proactive. We identified communities where there were significant amounts of heirs property. And when I said identify communities, we didn't send letters to anybody and say, hey, I know you got heirs property. What we did is for those communities that we saw where heirs property was an issue, we started visiting those social organizations, the churches, the governmental entities, making sure that they knew that we existed and what we did. We started going to all of these information tables at these county, every county has some kind of festival. You got the shrimp festival, you got the watermelon festival, you got the crab, all that. So we like to eat too, but we just started to visit all those festivals so that people would get to know who we are. And people, that's how you build trust. Once people saw that, we didn't have a problem with hanging out with them and they're in their world, then it was okay to embrace what we were doing.
Yeah.
So that's how we decided where to expand. And we still do that based upon where the greatest need is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so like, I guess I want to ask, because I'd imagine some people are watching this and saying, I never heard of this issue. And I'd imagine, probably nationwide, that's every time I talk to people what I do, like for a living, they're always like, well, tell me about it. So I'd imagine like nationally, that's a discussion that's starting to happen. Have you noticed that conversation has expanded and it has the Center of Heirs Property Preservation had a role in that expansion of the discussion?
So I would say yes, we had a role in the expansion of that discussion because there are not very many organizations like us across the nation. And when under the administration of a previous administration, I won't say which one, they actually learned about our work through the Sustainable Forestry Land Retention. Well, let me get it right now. Sustainable Forestry African American Land Retention Program. Yes. Pretty long, but that's all right. I gotta do it like that. And so we had an opportunity to interact with people at the national government level. And for prime example, just give you an example. One was Dr. Joe Leonard, who was the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights at that time. And he's like, this work really is what USDA should be doing, because he says rather than coming out and listening to complaints, which is what he usually gets to hear, he actually got to see a solution to an issue that had been kind of tossed around for a long time. So that administration became aware of us. We were invited to other platforms to talk about our work. And eventually, and it's kind of like simultaneously, I call him the father of the Uniform Partition Heirs Property Act. Thomas Mitchell was also doing research at the same time. So it's kind of like parallel tracks. And it just so happens that they crossed, but that now in the 2018 Farm Bill, heirs property is listed in the Farm Bill for the first time. And particularly around getting landowners with heirs property, helping them to benefit from USDA programs. And that's last but not least, I promise I'm getting ready to end my answer to your question.
You good?
Is in November, I think it was the last year, we partnered with the Aspen Institute and had a national one-day webinar on the issue of heirs property, pointed out that it's not just a Black issue. It's you can find it in the Appalachian. You can find it in, it's not urban, just only urban. You can find it in rural, Native Americans, in the colonies. It is, to me, and I say this many times when I'm doing presentations, low-income folk do not sit around the dinner table and talk about estate planning. And therefore, they may not know how to transfer their assets, to leave their assets to their loved ones when they do pass.
Yeah. See, and that's
because it's about
also
wealth. That's what land is. Yeah, land translates into wealth if you're maximizing it, and if you lose it, you're losing wealth.
And that's an important discussion to have, especially in a time where we're talking about things like gentrification and talking about, quote unquote, Black Lives Matter, and how are we talking about Black wealth? And so I think that absolutely, I think that I uniquely ended up at the center at just the perfect time, where I am in my progression of learning about this process. So I've definitely learned a lot through working in the center about this issue and how it's been able to be impactful. I sort of want to shift gears a little bit to just talk about the the types of events that the center does have in the community that allows the center to sort of give back and sort of acknowledge people in the community. Can you talk about? I would like you to talk about two things particularly. One, the commitment to justice, and two, the landowner symposium.
Okay, and why do you want me to talk about those? All right, so I'll talk about the landowner symposium first. This is, I think, is it our 5th or our 6th year? See, I get the numbers wrong. I think it's our 5th year. 6. Okay, so I was right. Our 6th year that we're holding our annual landowner symposium, and the purpose of the symposium, when we started, was primarily to make landowners aware of the programs offered by USDA and other entities to help them, as we said earlier, maximize the use of their land. Sustainable forestry tends to be the tool that we use with landowners if you have 10 acres or greater, but we also partner with other entities if you want to embark upon traditional ag. So we have it out there, so there are options. So that is why the symposium started. Every year we usually have a really great speaker. We've put our request in for this year. Person hasn't responded yet, so I can't tell you who the speaker is, but we do have a requesting for a really good speaker. And it's also about the landowners sharing what they have learned throughout their program. Rashawn has the pleasure of running the program we call the Woodlands Community Advocates Institute, where folk from the community who've either benefited from our legal services, our forestry services, or they just like us and they like the work and they believe in what we do, and they want to be our boots on the ground evangelists, spreading the word about what the center is doing and how you can benefit from it. So that is also a time at the symposium with the WCA, so I'll use the acronym now. They actually showcase, what they've learned through the program and what they intend to do later on in their community based upon what they're learned. Then last but not least is the commitment to justice. And Rashawn, I'm not going to remember the date, so you either have to send them out or something. But commitment to justice. Yeah, commitment to justice. Every year we select an individual who has had a life or of service or around the issue of justice. It doesn't have to be always around land and justice, but the issue of justice. And I won't even try to remember all of the people we've honored, but I'll just throw out a few. The late Judge Bernard Fielding, Judge Richard Fields, um, the Honorable Lucille Whipper, just to name a few. We have several, and former Supreme Court Judge. I see your face, and why did I do it like that? Oh well. Anywho, it'll come to me. So yes, we've honored many people, but this year we have the pleasure of honoring Dr. Millicent Brown. The last name should sound familiar to you in um, the world famous lawsuit Brown versus Board of Education. She is one of the Brown sisters who was involved in that lawsuit. So we're really looking forward. I mean, I'm getting shivers now just thinking about what she went through and how it's going to be so great when we meet. I think it's in October to have her. Well, actually, we're going to do a dual program. We're doing dual programs for both of them, for the symposium as well as the commitment to justice. So if you can't make it in person, you'll have an opportunity to join us virtually. Anything else, Mr. Speaker, that I should be saying that I haven't said?
It is on September 9th.
That's the symposium.
No, symposium.
Which one
November
is that?
15th, October 15th and 16th.
See? There you go.
And Commitment to Justice, honoring Dr. Millicent Brown, is September 9th.
Okay. See? All right. That's what I wanted. All right.
But that's definitely like that.
Anything else, sir?
So just thinking about the landowner symposium, I know we're wrapping, but just thinking about the landowner symposium, like I remember when I started, that was when I realized how cool like what we were doing was being able to be, at the downtown Marriott and just walking in and being a part of all of these different sessions, what just was talking about, and just to make it personal, just seeing so many Black landowners in one place that were learning about how to preserve their land and how to make sure that they can make the most of what they had. That's when it, like up until then, like I think that was in August and I started in June. So like that was when it really hit me, like this is a really cool thing.
This is dope. Isn't that your word?
Dope.
This is dope. Isn't that your word?
So speaking of, so let's pivot to the last topic before I get you off of here because I know you got to go.
All right. Okay.
Being my boss. Tell the people what it's like to be my boss.
Oh my gosh, to be Rashawn's boss. First of all, it's an honor. You know that, right? It's an honor. Rashawn is such a big picture person. If you need to think about what could possibly be, Rashawn is your man. And he's such an engaging young man. He likes the opportunity to educate and make people informed of so many things. And of course, he loves to talk. I know you would have never known that. But when you put all that together, I know, right? When you put all that together, that makes him, for me, a pleasure in working with him. And he's taught me, I have to ask him sometimes to interpret the words that he's using because like, I'm just a little bit older than him. So he has to help me understand the lingo. But other than that, we's cool, right?
We're definitely cool. And I also, I have to thank you. And this is sort of, I guess, what I've been doing on my wrap up tour is like just telling people like just thank you for being who they have been to me. And I've said it to you privately, and I want to say it to you publicly because in the last 2 years I've grown so much as a leader. Because for those who don't know, I started out as Dr. Stevens' assistant, her executive assistant. Well, first I was her intern, and then I was her executive assistant. But I started out there, and she has this ability to see things in people, and as she says, she puts people on the right seats on the bus. And if she sees something in you, she's gonna steer you in that direction to make sure that you're maximally successful. And you've done that for me, and I would not be near where I am in life without you. And I just wanted to say thank you on live television in front of the world.
All right.
So
All right, I'll pay you later. But
yeah, I'll take. So,
no.
you can just put him out. Give me a bonus, a little bonus.
Yeah, give you a
But-
little dollar or two, right? But no, no, it's a pleasure hearing you say that to me, because that is part of who I am, is seeing the potential in people and helping them. As I said, helping them. I'm not gonna do it for you,
Yeah.
but helping you move to the next level.
Yeah. So I
So
want to make
thank
sure
you.
before we get out of here, tell the people
Mhm.
how can they support the work that we do at the Center for Heirs Property.
Wow. So we do accept volunteers. We're establishing some regional advisory committees. So there's opportunities for you to possibly serve on the committees. You could also serve on our board. If an opportunity presents itself, if you are an attorney, or you even have to be a law school student, but we conduct wills clinics where we need for-profit attorneys to help us on occasion, and we need people to notarize things during those wills clinics. And last but not least, of course, you can help us financially. But I wanted to give you all of the options of what you can do, because sometimes people fail to see that it's more than money.
Yeah.
Now, nonprofits can't run without money. I'm not saying they can't, but it's more than money, because what we want to not make you do, what we want you to have such a great experience that not only do you keep giving money, but you keep coming back and to work with us. That's what it is, because we're about building family. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Because literally, and I'm going to use a cliche proverb, it does take a village, because none of us have everything to move this work down the road. It takes all of us, and we all bring our different skills and gifts to the table. So that's why I like my organizational leadership. How about that?
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Stevens.
right.
I really appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time out to do this. Like I told
You're
you,
welcome.
this is my second to last
I
episode.
know.
Next week,
I know.
is
Your
the
mom is the last. And it's
mom's
right.
coming on.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, it should be so, right?
Yeah. She literally told me, like, no, like, I will be your last episode. So,
Well, wait,
Yeah, so-
is that not what mothers do?
that's what mothers do. So
Yeah,
I was
so-
not mad at it. So if you are,
Yeah.
so led, I would love to anybody who's watching, please tune in next week. I will be opening the lines up. People will be able to come in and say their goodbyes to the show. I'm not going anywhere. I promise you, I'm not terminal. I'm not leaving the country or the nation. I mean, the country or the world. I'm just moving on and refocusing my energy on more concerted efforts toward my future. And we can talk about that more next week. But please tune in next week. It's going to be great. My mom's going to be co-hosting. We're going to be talking about our favorite moments from the show. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff. And I'm not giving anything away. So if you come in for free stuff, I ain't got it. It ain't in the budget. So with that being said, thank y'all so much for joining. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Dr. Stevens. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna wrap. Thank you all for joining me this week. I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you to Dr. Stevens for joining me on this show. As y'all know, man, like, I love this. I love this. I love it. But all good things must come to an end. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Thank you to Dr. Stevens. Please make sure you go to our website, www.heirsproperty.org, to find out more information about the organization. As you heard in the interview, we do great work. And I don't just say that because I work there and because I draw a check, because everybody who's there truly believes in the mission and is pushing towards one goal. And that goal is the eradication of heirs property and the issue in this country and in the world. So we'll see what happens, down the line. Yeah, that's all I got. So always remember, God is everything, and without him, we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he is bound to fall for anything. And that is real talk. I will see y'all next week for the final time, friends. Peace.